Who are you becoming as you're losing weight? This has always been a question that people have asked themselves as their body is changing through weight loss. Because what's happened is it takes it takes our minds much longer to catch up to what we see with our body. And it's not just looking at our physical transformation and saying, okay, this is what I look like now. There are so many things rooted in how we see ourselves as a person by our physical appearance. And it's a lot to untangle. Now, you on top of that, put the fact that you're using a GLP-1 medication, which you probably will say, hey, I'm losing more weight now and most likely more weight faster than I ever have before. So if we've always been looking at this and saying, okay, how do I reconcile and connect who I see in the mirror with how I feel about myself as a person? And I know that it's taking time to actually do this, but now we've accelerated it. How can we get a handle on this? Because it is going to be something that you're going to be navigating, and you're probably going to be navigating it to some extent for the rest of your life. It was always going to be this way because you've always got these views of yourself throughout life. And if you ever notice when somebody's on, well, a lot of people when they post about their weight loss on social media, the before pictures or who they were previously, they try to distance themselves. Now, some people do this on purpose, and some people it may not be intentional at all, but they're trying to draw a hard line between who they were and who they are. Now, I do the quotes with that because you're the same person. You're always going to be the same person. And but you evolve. Things change. You have experiences. You start to see things differently. You start to see yourself differently. So I truly think at the core of this, instead of running away from ourselves, we have to run towards ourselves. So, I think instead of just looking at it as this is who I was, this is who I am. And when you start to ask yourself, who am I becoming? What's new? What hasn't changed? And what from the past do I need to bring with me? Because we're all carrying things from the past, and fitness and weight loss is a very emotional process. People want to make it logical. It's not. It's way more about emotion than logic. If it were logical, we all would eat less food than we're expending energy wise. We'd be in that sustainable calorie deficit. We would do the workouts. We would take care of ourselves. We would never we would just have our forever active lifestyle. We would have no emotional response to it. But that's not how we do it. That's not how you do it. That's not how I do it. That's not how anybody does it, because there's so much emotion tied to this. And it's not a bad thing. The only time that it ends up causing problems is when we avoid it. So who you're becoming, good news for many of you that are seeing this, you are now losing the weight that you never thought you would be able to lose. Your body's changing. You notice the appearance on the outside, working with your doctor. You guys know what's going on with the changes on the inside. You know how your markers have changed if you've been doing this for a while, and you're meeting with your doctor regularly, and you're getting your blood work done, which all of this you should be doing. I'm hoping that you're doing. If you're not doing it, schedule a time with your doctor. Like right now, get the app out on the phone, schedule it, do it. But here's the thing. I think when we connect us at different stages of life, I do think this gets easier. Because for so many people, we're wanting to run from the older version of ourselves. It's the same person. It's still there. It's still running, chasing after you. Hey, remember me? And it absolutely, and you hear this all the time, it's the younger version of you. Like the 8-year-old version of you is running after you, not wanting to be forgotten about, right? Yeah. So let them all come with you because they're not leaving. They're gonna be there. Um, but when you look at this stuff, you're making the changes, you're seeing the things that you've always wanted. It's not going to look and feel long term on the inside the way that you hoped it would, because for so many people, this is what they've always wanted. A lot of who they've wanted to be is at a lower body weight or a low at a lower body fat percentage. Now that they're there and they don't feel that different, they're like, eh. It's not that you're not happy for your success. You are. You're proud of yourself. You should be. You absolutely should be. You should celebrate your success all the time. But what ends up happening is that it's not that kind of lasting celebration, feeling comfortable in your own skin that you thought it was going to be. And that's what we need to really, really work through. Now, as I often say, and a lot of my uh, content, podcasts, videos, social media, if you can find a therapist to work with that is, you can have a productive working relationship, which means they can call out after you built some rapport with them. They can call you out on things in a disarming way, and you see your blind spots and you can work through them, and they can help you work through all this stuff that you're feeling. Um, and it's like when you start looking at who you're becoming, because that was the question at the top of this, right? I really think it should be tied to not solely what you see. I think you should love and appreciate who you see in the mirror. Um, but I think it should also be about the actions. This is the type of action that I take in my life, so that you're that would directly be the habits that you're developing or reinforcing or picking back up after months, years, or decades when it comes to your active lifestyle. But I think even more important than that, your qualities as a person. How do you treat other people? How do you treat yourself? What values do you have? How optimistic are you? Do you see opportunities in different places and areas of your life? Because they really are all over you, all over. You can see the opportunities or you can see the struggles. But like, these are the kinds of nuanced things that will make up your identity that you get to choose. That's the thing. You're not just at the mercy of the scale or the mirror. You can decide how you're going to see yourself and what your identity is going to be. Now, I think when you start to put all of this contextual stuff about you into your identity, well, the appearance, while it's part of it, has a little bit of less of an impact on you, because you've got more things that you're seeing value in with yourself. Um, which reminds me of, like, so when I work with clients, we don't just do get on the scale, what's the scale number? We do progress updates, which include photos and which include a waist measurement. I don't like doing the head to toe measurements. I like the waist measurement because most people, if they're wanting to lose weight, that's where they want to lose it. That's one of the areas they want to lose it. And it's easy for them to measure it on their own. But the reason we take the 3 data points instead of just getting on the scale is it de-emphasizes the scale, because you have more things to look at. And it's the same thing here. When you're looking in the mirror and you're sizing up who you are and how you see yourself, the more things that you can put into this that really that really drive home this identity that you're actively choosing, you're empowering yourself to choose, the better off you're going to be. So I mean, again, like, there's a lot when we look in the mirror and say, who am I? There's so much that we can actually put in with that. It's really a very taking ownership on that, I think, is a very empowering thing to do. And I think it really I mean, it can change exactly how you see yourself. You got to reinforce that belief each and every day, but you can totally do that. The other thing I mentioned reconciling how you've seen yourself in the past and how you see yourself now and bringing that together. You also got to reconcile the entire process of fitness and weight loss. So here's the interesting thing. A lot of interesting things with this. You now can lose the weight. You've now been able to lose the weight faster than ever before. You now also are probably starting to see a lot of the inconsistencies and bad advice, bad information that has been pushed to you by the fitness and weight loss industry. A multi-billion dollar industry, tens of billions of dollars. The stats change. I haven't looked at the stats in a while, but I think it was upwards of like a $90 billion a year industry, marketing against our insecurities. Now you might say, Daryl, you're in the fitness industry, you're in marketing. I am, but here's the core of the marketing message that I want you to know about yourself. I want you to appreciate who and what you see in the mirror. I want you to feel confident and capable in living the lifestyle that you're building, because it is important that you have an active lifestyle. I want you to build that around your preferences, and I want you to do that from a place of appreciation for yourself, because when you build it like that, you will then want to do this stuff for years and decades, because it's what you enjoy. And it is important because our quality of life long term is largely based on how we take care of ourselves. And it's not just eating and exercise, it's how we view ourselves, it's how we handle and navigate things in life. But yes, I am a fitness professional and I am a marketing professional. Just threw my hands up. I didn't want to, for those of you listening on the podcast, I didn't want to just so there you go. There's a muted yell scream for you. But the thing is like this will call into question a lot of what you thought you knew about weight loss. And I got news for you. When you start peeling the layers back on what you thought you knew about weight loss and what is actually working for building a forever active lifestyle for you, you're going to find a lot of things. You're like, oh man, I believed that. In some cases, I even found comfort in that. And I was absolutely incorrect. So yeah, you're going to be finding a lot. There's going to be a lot of inconsistencies from what you always thought to what you think now. But again, that's showing that you're evolving, which is a great thing. And, the thing is, this version of you that you're deciding, you're going to have to reinforce that belief. That's great, though. You get to show up every single day and reinforce who you're choosing to be. Now, are you going to slip back into old habits and thoughts and things like that? Absolutely. That's where you got to lead with kindness and compassion when dealing with yourself, because it really it makes all the difference. And that's a thing with people with fitness and weight loss that you can't see. If you go on Instagram, if you're part of the fitness community, if you're on TikTok, you can see people posting about their workouts. You can see people posting their food. You can see the progress pics. You can see all the stuff. You don't know what's driving so you know they're taking the action, but you don't know what's driving the action underneath. And you can be a person doing this out of appreciation and leading with kindness and compassion for yourself, and yes, there's going to be nuance in between, but there's many people that are doing this to get away from themselves, and they don't like who and what they see. So, and I do believe that multi-billion dollar industry, a lot of what they do is they market against our insecurities, which is a lot of the reason why I do what I do. So let's see, and now that you're able to lose the weight, you now get to figure out the life that works best for you. That can be terrifying at first, because like so much of what we've had programs thrown at us over the years. This is what you need to do. And we'll even say, tell me what to do and I'll do it. Well, it's not like that. You take all the puzzle pieces and you build your own. So yeah, but there's there's ways to actually organize this. And I would absolutely I've got a framework for this you can check out. Go to yourlevelfitness.com/framework. You can get there from the homepage, which is linked up in the show notes as well. But that shows you how to really approach this stuff, how to set goals, goal and exceed goals, and actually use goal setting as a way to change the identity on how you see yourself approaching this and other areas of life, how to track progress. I mentioned part of that before with the progress updates, but it's all there because I want you guys to be able to figure this stuff out, because when you start to, again, when you start to peel all this back, there's a lot of things that you know about fitness and weight loss that actually are counter to what you've heard about fitness and weight loss. And you got to be able to put that in an actual structure and system that's going to work for you. So check out the framework. I have a ton of self-paced resources. When you go to yourlevelfitness.com, you'll see that. But everything's organized and digestible so you can use it. That's been the biggest thing of putting all this stuff together for you guys. The in that reinforcement, I'm a big believer in reinforcing the belief in ourselves. You got to take the action. You do have to be a person of action, but the change happens in how you choose to see that action and how you choose to see yourself ongoing. So a lot of people will tell you that identity change is solely through action. You do the action. Again, this is getting back to trying to make something very, very logical that's actually emotional. And our identity is 1,000% really accurate number there, by the way, emotional. Because like, if it were logical of, oh, I'm looking at what I'm doing, I automatically see the good, this is who I am, that'd be one thing. But we don't look at our action as proof. We look at our action as a thought that we're not quite there yet, that we're never going to actually get there, because we're relying on our action alone and hoping that one day we're going to wake up and finally see it. Now, if we choose it, if we choose to see it first, right before and then while we're taking the action becomes reinforcement. And we reinforce beliefs about ourselves all the time. It's just usually negative things. It's normally like, it'll be the stuff where like, see, this is why nothing ever works out for me. But you're not seeing the times that it does work out for you. Again, a lot of things come down to like what we choose to see. So, but that is what I have for you. So if you're listening on the podcast, welcome. If you like what you're hearing, please go ahead and subscribe. Once you've subscribed, please rate and review, and then share the episode with anybody that you think might like to listen to it. If you're watching on YouTube, welcome. If you like what you're watching, please go ahead and subscribe. And then once you're subscribed, please share the video with somebody that you think would enjoy watching it. And depending on how fast it takes me to wrap this up, YouTube's going to recommend a video that they think you should go watch after this one. I would go watch it. I wouldn't necessarily jump too far down the rabbit hole with the content, but you know what? One more video, go do it. Get on with your day. Awesome stuff. I did mention, check out the stuff for Your Level Fitness. Go to yourlevelfitness.com. There's a lot of self-paced stuff there to help you do this stuff on your own, because again, this whole changing of identity is huge, and I don't like how the fitness industry markets against their insecurities. So we're combating that. There we go. One decision at a time. You and me, we're doing it. So, but that is what I have for you. Thank you as always for listening and watching, and I'll talk to you again real soon.